Anyone?
That's that, yeah, previous day value area low, and what that you have it the 3-day balance high.
Yep. So you have a 5-day balance high, and if you guys look today, if you zoom in a little bit on a single print, and when volatility drops as it has, you can probably decrease this to 2. When VIX is over 30, I typically have to go to 4 or 6 ticks. Just FYI. See here.
Sorry, 5-day balance high.
Yeah, that's 5 days. So that's fairly important level, right? If this market is really strong and there's a lot of net new buyers showing up here, this is one of the levels they should not break, right? Because if you guys remember from the classes, right, if this was our value at one point, let me make sure this is not extending. So if this was our value and now you're disagreeing on value, there's a couple of things that you have to keep an eye on. Right. So the first one is, I don't know why volume is so weird. Not sure what's going on. So one is the volume happening, are you breaking out of this balance with a lot of volume? So I would say out of all of these days so far, relative to the body here, you're really not breaking up out of this zone higher, but we were really not out of the trading range, right? The trading range would still be kind of, let me make sure you guys are following. It would still be in this area where our trading range is. Does that make sense? This little triangle, this is our range. You're still in it, right? When VIX drops, right, that means it's cheaper to, buy some options, right? They're much cheaper to hedge with. And right now, VIX is pretty low. If you guys look at the VIX right now, VIX is at the lows right before that spike. We're very close to it right now. So if that's the case, then, it's not a bad idea to protect yourself and your long-term portfolio, considering if we don't break out tomorrow and don't break this key level, right? And I would say the key level for tomorrow is basically finding buyers above the SIG2, right? If they can find SIG2, there's a quick drop, a quick pump to 6,003. And then overnight high was somewhere in this area at one point, like 6,006 or something like that. Let's see, yeah, 6,008. So this was an overnight high. I'm not going to mark it just because it doesn't carry much weight. But then you want to pay attention also to, how did this POC and what kind of volume do we have here? And you'll see that this node here is pretty massive, right? So you're going to have some resistance right here where this LVN is. So I would say if you extend this guy here, this is a pretty good target. If you do crack over 6,003, most likely you're going to be going to this 634, and I'll be fairly cautious if they happen to do that, right? From there, you could get some traps, and I would certainly watch it. If we get just blow off the top, I mean, we were ripping much higher, then ultimately they're going to be targeting this POC here, the sell-off POC on this case right here. And I think I marked it slightly wrong. So that's coming kind of from 85. At that point, we peaked above, sold off. So not a bad level in a zone to mark right here, 6105 to 685-ish, about 20 points. So that's how I would play it. But tomorrow is pretty important, right? If the bears are there, right, they should be able to kind of, bring the price back in all the way. And when you look at the value here, I'm just on the weekly 3 days now. The value needs to shift as well. Ideally, the value should shift above the previous week value area high, and it should be this zone that's stacking at that point. So they need to bring the value. That means the bulls need to hold the price in the top bracket so they can shift it. And if they're not able to, then ultimately look what's kind of lining up here. The weekly developing value area low is very close to this POC. So I wouldn't think that if you crack this, sure, maybe a bounce here, we get some buyers, but ultimately you're looking to go all the way down. You're in balance and you have to trade with the balance kind of rails on, right? Even though it looks very bullish, right, in terms of price action today, they didn't really give us much in terms of, re-entering, because these were the candles. If you guys look, let me hide this one. Let me turn this TP on and hide PDP. Give it a second. So just from today, if you guys look at 30 minutes, was there any slowdown till we got to the 88 level? The best slowdown was this candle from the 74 from that. And then you had this massive, I guess, sell-off, you would say, for a day like today, and they basically recovered it. You know, they lost 23 points. It's not that bad, but then ultimately they held it. And then they're also giving you a little bit of, you know, ideas here. So your IBH, if you guys look here between B and C here, you do have some single prints that you should be aware of, right? So I would definitely consider this, you know, to be very important as well. From day-to-day auction, right? And then here you have a ledge which starts the single prints. And in between four, I don't really care. I just want to make sure I know where the top is and the bottom. So these are the single prints where you can expect the buying activity to happen right here. And if they lose this, then ultimately, you know, you're most likely going to test this. I would consider this to be pretty weak low, and then, you know, the balance high is there. If you lose that, ultimately, this is the target for me. And this can be a tweet. It could be honestly anything right now because you're in a bracket. The news will generate themselves, and the market will just play out. And a lot of people are, I would assume, a lot of people are swinging calls and they're really bullish. The put to call ratio is pretty high, I believe. Let's see, put to call ratio is right now. Well, maybe this 0.37. So it's pretty, I would say, pretty aggressive there. A lot of buyers are stepping in. So let's see. I'm not bullish or bearish. I'm just aware that the bracket's there. Does that make sense? So I would not necessarily initiate longs here. If we pop above this 88 and we quickly lose it, that's your clear sign to turn somewhat bearish. The price may be fading from the top. There's a lot of trapped buyers because right now, if you look at this price action, you know, everybody's piling in now. And honestly, the best outcome here would be that they get punished from here to the mean, right? And that would be ideal scenario. And then on daily, I don't know if we had a spike today. I think we had it the day prior. Let me check. No
Are you giving that much weight to the spike since it didn't take us out of balance?
Nah, not that much. And there's no spike today, man. I was looking to see what's going on, but there's no spike. I mean, if you lose the 68, it can really start moving fast. This structure here is not the best. You have 3 TPOs on the bottom. If it was a real P shape, you really shouldn't have these TPOs here because right now it's considered actually a double distribution day because you have 3 TPOs stacking. And if you look, you had 3, you had 6. What is this? 4, 5, 6. You have 9 POCs, 9 TPO POC here, which is pretty wide. So if you guys take a look at it here, so basically it started framing up after the B period outside, never really stopped, and then the J period really took over. But as of right now, looks like, you know, the close being still very bullish. I can't find anything that's bearish there. Once we lose the 60, that's where you can expect day to day to change. Peak above 88 and lose it. That's, for me, that's a sign, you know, we're looking more bearish. Any questions? Let me just give you guys a view, if my computer lets me. So this is, I would say this is the clouds, right? And this is a monthly cloud. So I just want to show you guys, you know, when you go here, where we are, where we were. And, you know, if you guys recall here, Chance and team, I've given you this and I've given you that this is a pretty bearish setup. Bullish setup. When the full sense showed up, it was actually on the monthly time frame when I pointed it out. And I said, you know, if this shows up, there's a very high chance that we're just going to cycle back up. But now what you're noticing, and I just want to point it out for you guys, is if you take a look at every time you touch the monthly cloud from here to here, How long did it take? Each candle is a month. Well, it took probably more than a year. And then if you look from the bottom here to the top, took a long time. And then take a look at this one. Tariff, no tariff. So you completed a whole monthly cycle within 2 months, right? Which is not something that's normal in terms of price action and movement. So if you guys look at it, what do you notice here? Maybe rockets don't answer.
And you have a triangle, you have, it's just decreasing and decreasing in size, participation. Can't get over the ledge right now as well.
Anything else?
It touched the bottom cloud and the spike was, or the wick's huge.
The bodies are getting smaller.
Okay.
By
What
accident.
color is this cloud?
It's closed.
That one's closed.
Yeah, clouds closed actually worse than it was before. And you're right next to it. I'm just giving you a heads up that this is the setup that I offer the cloud. This is the setup I dream for. That you go inside the cloud like you did. You go all the way, you're supposed to get stuck here a little bit, and you did. Then you go to the top quickly, and the cloud's still closed. So this to me is, ideal. It's called bearish money shot, and this can be major, right? This can be a major move. And if I change this, now I'll just show you something here, and I put this on quarterly. If this cloud was closed here, I'll be a little worried, right? Quarterly cloud closed, that's not good. But now this quarterly cloud is open, means the price will go through it, and the bottom is actually closed. So if I change this one to yearly, which is multi-time frame, right? You guys will see some. So we're back to the yearly trend bar, right? Which turned red, and it's still not finding much auction here. And we're way, let me show you, way above the yearly. I mean, it's pretty insane that we haven't visited, since, when was it, 2020, March? We haven't gone there. So if we are able to lose this trend bar, right, which is kind of sitting at 55.50, that's a really start of a bear cycle. And when I say a bear cycle, it would be a bear cycle that's lasting maybe a few months. And we want the candle to close below it. But from the cloud standpoint, we are coming up on a cloud that's closed, right? So just like we came on a cloud right here, right? And I'm just going to explain it. Okay, so take a look at this, right? The price went above, we went to the cloud, we came back here for a retest, and think about it, there's a lot more, let me show you here. There's a lot more price action than, just a candle here. I'm on the monthly cloud. If I go on the monthly candles, if I go on the weekly here, you will see, for instance, look, we went to the bottom. What happened here? They went inside the cloud, clouds closed, and where did they end up going? They completed the whole cycle from the top to the bottom. And typically, if you hold the bottom, you're going to go to the middle. Here, they're not able to get any traction. They went to the bottom, clouds open actually, and they're able to go through it. And then you see clouds open. Here's bullish backdoor, another one. They're holding it. Clouds open here, so they're able to go through. Now they tried to get back in, and that's where the cloud closed. And now you're revisiting basically a really, really, really critical spot, guys. So if they come to 667, I will load heavier size puts, right? And I'm talking maybe October, or give it time just to protect myself. But I'll load up some puts and protect myself. And hopefully this makes sense. And I'm able to measure, just FYI, how long it typically takes. And this is very fast, what we've witnessed now. And I don't even think in COVID took longer, right? I think COVID took much longer than this. So right here, so yeah, I mean, you see the steepness of the curve. You don't even have to go, you're talking about what, like 77? And here you got to the 55 degrees. So this one's pretty steep. So we'll see what happens here. And this is my spot where I will double down on quite a few things in this area here. Does that make sense? I'm just giving you heads up. Same heads up I gave you here. I'm giving you the opposite now. Be aware. Don't be biting the market buy button right now. It's not the time to do that. Any questions from anyone?
Are you looking to trim any of your positions?
No, majority of my positions. So I'll show you here. Are you talking about like shares?
Yeah, but for the long term.
Yeah, no. So a lot of my positions, whether I like it or not, they didn't play out yet, right? So meaning I haven't actually made the money that I need to make. Let me bring up a chart so I can show you something here. By the time I find this monitor. Okay, so this is the ES. So if you take a look at some of the stocks that I have that are big positions in my portfolio. So here's, for instance, Pfizer, right? So right now we are on the monthly bottom, weekly bottom, and unfortunately, I really don't have to tell you that we are headed here within a few weeks, or maybe less. We're going to be at $26 here in no time. If we crack that, you're going to be here, and then ultimately, this is, if we were to get to $32, is there an idea that I could trim some of my holdings? Because at this point, I think I'm a majority shareholder here. 40% gain, yeah, maybe, but I think ultimately my goal would be to hit the 45. That's I would say my target here is to complete the 45 cycle. So let's see. And then if I go to Intel, which is also in my portfolio. So here's Intel. You have the weekly, the monthly bottom, pretty much everything is sitting here, right? And until we get to this 41, 42 level, I'm not really interested in selling yet. Today I added position here. What is this? KHC. And you guys will see why. So we are at the weekly bottom, at the monthly bottom. We bounced here, and typically what this will do, it will at least give me $31 to $33. And if it does, I'll take it, right? I'll take that off. $50,000 investment. If I can make, let's say, 25%, that's pretty good money, right? Especially if it's less than a month. I'll take it. See. So a lot of the positions that I have are really not played out yet. So I'm not really concerned too much, as you know, I buy fairly close to the bottom of the value on a lot of stuff. So therefore, I'm not really inclined to sell yet. There's no reason to. And here's Tesla for those that are interested why we sold off. Tesla's going to go lower. It's going to go to 308, and then it's going to visit 262, probably to 248. There's some big boys just to kind of show you. Apple's actually in the opposite side of the world. So they're looking either to go to the monthly bottom, which would be 176. There's a high chance they're going to be in this area for some time, right? So unless they crack 215, they're really not going to move from here. 215 cracks, you can target 240. It's going to happen quick. If you have any tickers you guys want, welcome to look through them. Here's NVIDIA. It's coming up to a key level, right? So it bounced off the weekly top, monthly top is here, and it looks to be that, this is actually same setup if you guys look here, right? So this is quarterly. Let me look at the monthly. Look at this on the video. So there's a pretty high chance that this is going to sell off from here again, right? The closed cloud is not there yet. A lot of buying happening, I would say, on it today. So let's see what happens, right? But the volume is not that, I would say, nothing great. But this is a spot for short opportunities on the video, targeting probably 106, sometimes around October or so, or maybe even August. Any other questions from anyone's stocks? I hope you guys are not buying PLTR. I don't even know what. That's fine.
Can you look at Dollar Tree?
Yeah, it's a DTR. No. What is Dollar Tree? DLTR. Oh yeah. Yeah, you're about to get a. I think you got in on the bottom, right? Where'd you get in?
Yeah. At 66,
Yeah.
67 actually.
Yeah. So it's going to 122. It's gonna reject at 99.36. You could trim there, but it's gonna reject, and then ultimately it's gonna look like something like this, and then it's gonna kind of proceed to go here. 122. So you could get 100% on that.
Yeah, I
Close
was just
to
gonna
it.
say I'll hold on to that.
Yep. So it's a good entry that you had. What else do we have? Any other ones? Anyone? Wolf. Let's see. Wolf is gonna be awful. It's in for a major, major squeeze here. I mean, I don't know if you guys are seeing the cloud, but the cloud's actually closed right now. So it can pump, and it will pump to $3.32. I can tell you that it's gonna happen sooner than later. So this is definitely gonna take a pump here. But this is, and you can see they've been buying it for some time here. So don't be surprised if this one does some crazy shit. And I say crazy shit, something like AMC crazy shit. This trap, yeah, not my cup of tea here, right? So I think if it goes somewhere around 60s, yeah, but not a buy here. What are you talking about? Is this what you're talking about, Stacy? Evening Cliffs. Let's try to find screen. Me personally, I would want it to be above 954 to initiate a long position, 964. I wouldn't touch it before because it does have a chance to go lower. So 954 would offer you minimal drawdown if there was any drawdown on it. Okay, so here's the bros. Hopefully you guys, the $48, what we dreamed of, we got it, and they're back to almost 100% here, right? So, oops. So we are almost at 56%. If you guys remember, this was a really, really high watch list item for us. So if they crack this, ultimately it would go to 80, and hopefully we get another opportunity somewhere in this price. This is a pretty good company to go after. See, so I am waiting for PEP, but it's not there yet. I guess I'm being too greedy, and yeah, I'm interested a little bit cheaper, like right here at 107, 108. I really want it there. If I'm able to get it there, I'll load the boat. Ideally, you know, Heinz Craft goes higher, sell it for 20, 25% gains. Wait for this guy to come back, right? If this one comes back here, then use those funds and go kind of buy it, right? So AAP, man, AAP's been running quite a bit. Does anyone still own AAP?
Yep.
I think this one might be honestly one of our better plays, right? Especially if we can catch the whole monthly top. So we're talking about a run from, you know, here to here, which would be ideal, right? This would be a perfect, and that's what I'm waiting for. Over 55, guys, this is going to happen. This is going to be a quick run. Really, really quick run. So let's see what happens. There's not much stopping it besides this right here, which is monthly middle, and you see that they're kind of tapping this perfectly here. So once they're able to find some buyers there, that's great. If they do lose 47, then there's a chance that they're just gonna kind of stay in this range for some time, maybe about 8-point range for about 2 months or so before they decide for the move. Pizza, I think Pizza had a good day yesterday or the day prior. Yeah, so Pizza's been doing, I would say, pretty good too. It's been running, so it's coming up to a sell level, a trim level at 48.65 to 52. So I'll be very, very cautious there, Alfonso, on Pizza, right? It depends where you got in. I don't know what was y'all's entry, but if we can catch this like monthly mid, pretty good. Ultimate target 67, right? And then remember, this picks up a little bit more when the NFL season starts. And I think we're right around the corner, right? Isn't it in July or August, whenever it starts? Celsius, let's take a look at it. So monthly bottom was around, 25-ish right here, 25.95. This is definitely not a buy for me here, right? So I wouldn't necessarily buy here. It's consolidating. The break of 40 is going to give you 46, and you're targeting. It's going to get there. You're targeting this level here for Celsius. I don't know who owns Celsius. Is it Pep or Coke? I have no idea which one. If neither one of them owns it, probably a good candidate for a buyout. I wouldn't be surprised if Pep goes to 107 and we get some news like that. Okay. All right, guys. Well, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hopefully, we have a decent session tomorrow. I'll see how they play out.
Good night, Shorty.
Thanks, Shorty.
All right. Have a good one.
Thanks, Shorty.
Bye.